Alright, so it's finally lawn renovating season, and what we're going to be doing this year is we're going to be coming in my front yard. Now normally I'd be doing a ryegrass overseed about October, a little bit earlier this year, because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going for some Bluemuda up here. We're going to be mixing in midnight Kentucky Bluegrass. But first thing I got to do is I got to take down this Bermuda so that way I can get this ready to seed. So I'm going to be working on that today. So we're going to get this scalp down, we're going to get all the excess grass taken off, and we're going to come back and we're going to seed this. So first things first, let's get the scalp down. So anytime you do a scalp in your yard, it's always rough on your materials. So I actually have a brand new set of blades on here that I don't want to get tore up. So I have an old set here that I use just for scalping. So I'm going to get these swapped out and put the old blades on so that way we can be a little rougher on them. I don't really care if it tears them up too bad. And now this facade that was put in before I bought this home is something the contractor put in, and it's done poorly ever since it's been here. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and mix in some bluegrass into it. So I'm going to take this down. We're going to put down some midnight Kentucky Bluegrass here because I need some color in this. If all goes well, I'm actually going to mix this in probably in a lot of my yard. So like I said, let's scalp it down. And so let me drop some information real quick about if you're going to be seeding or not. A lot of you are going to be seeing your lawn renovation videos pop up this time of year. And there's going to be 2 different times a year that you're going to want to renovate your lawn. And if you're a warm season guy like I am, unless you're doing an overseed with cool season grass, you do not want to be doing a renovation right now. You have missed your window for time to renovate your lawn. You need to be renovating in the springtime. If you have any of the 3 types of grass I have listed below here, you know, zoysia, centipede, or Bermuda, those are warm season grasses. You're going to be renovating those in the springtime to summertime. That's when your growth happens. Everybody is renovating their lawns right now and doing lawn renovation projects. Those are probably winter or cool season grasses, and you probably don't have those. So I just wanted to give you guys a heads up that if you come out here and you have a Bermuda yard and you try to seed more Bermuda right now, it's probably not going to do you a whole lot of good because you have a warm season grass and we are really starting to slow down. Matter of fact, I only have to cut my Bermuda maybe once every 2.5 weeks. It's barely growing because our days are getting shorter and it's not pushing like it used to be. All right, so we just got the scalp down. Now we're gonna get out here and we're gonna throw some seed. I waited a little bit later in the day. Honestly, I just needed to cool off and the wind was blowing a little bit earlier. I don't like throwing real fine seed when it's windy, so we're gonna get out right now. We're gonna throw this down. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put 10 pounds over this 5,000 square foot area here and my 1,000 square foot area right here. This will be my front yard. So I have about 6,000 square feet. So that'll be a little less than two pounds per 1,000 square feet of seed initially. If it does good, I might add again in the fall, but we'll see. So this is the Outside Pride. This is the Midnight Kentucky Bluegrass. I ordered on Amazon. It was at my house in just a few days. I'll leave links below if you're interested in it. But you're gonna see here, I'm gonna be using my hand spreader here. Anytime I do a fine seed like this, I like to use my hand spreader because I feel like I can get better control of the coverage. I can really concentrate on where I'm throwing it and I'm not just spreading it everywhere. So that's why I always use my little hand spreader like this. And now, like I said earlier, you don't want to be doing this if it's really windy outside because it's going to blow your seed around. You're not going to get the even coverage you want. And I'm not going to explain how to throw grass seed down because there's plenty of videos out there for that. So let's just get right ahead into what we do after I get the seed down. All right, so real quick, anytime I seed, I love to come back and spray with RGS, Humic 12, and the Air 8. Now you can see this is what we call painting it black. You can tell it's a lot darker. So I went ahead and soaked this down, sprayed it down pretty good at all the application rates. I love doing this when I seed because I feel like it always gives it a good head start. And you see I'm using my SPRAYMATE sprayer here. I still recommend the sprayer. It's a great sprayer for the price point. Where it comes in at, there's really not a lot of competition in that price level, and it has been a great sprayer. So now I'm gonna water this in. I'm losing light quickly, so we'll pick this up tomorrow. All right, here we are. It's the next morning, and what we're going to talk about is And I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but the whole reason why we scalp this down is because you want to get good seed to soil contact here. So we're going to get all that grass down so that way we can get the seed on the ground, and then also it's going to let sunlight hit that seed. And now also when you're scalping, it's going to make a mess. So if you have nowhere to dispose of all the grass clippings, like you can see right here, this pile is everything that came off of the yard back here. And this is about 2.5 to 3 feet tall. It's kind of not really doing it justice, but you can see that's a 3 foot tall fence. Look how tall the pile is in the background. So if you are going to scalp your yard, be prepared to get rid of all those clippings, have somewhere to put them or have somewhere to take them, because there's going to be a lot to get rid of. And there is a pretty good chance that me scalping down this Bermuda like this at the very end of the season could put a hurting on it. And honestly, I really don't care, because that Bermuda gets on my nerves. So if it doesn't come back, it doesn't come back. I can already tell it's trying to come back, so I'm not really worried about it. Bermuda is a very hard grass to kill. It's kind of one of those things where a lot of people can't get rid of it, so I'm not really that worried about it. And what I'm going to do now, since we have seeded, well, since we have scalped it, since we have seeded it, since we have sprayed it down with the RGS, humic acid, and aerate, now it's time we start talking about the watering. This is the most important step. And I'm going to say this twice. Don't seed more than what you can water. I'm going to say it again. Don't seed more than what you can water. Because if you can't water it, then it's going to do you no good. So you're going to try to water this seed 3 to 4 times a day. My schedule that I use, I do first thing in the morning, then I schedule it again at lunch, then I go late afternoon, 4 o'clock. Then I also like to water right before I go to bed at night. So about 8 to 9 o'clock, I like to give it a last little bit of water. And each one of those is only going to be 10 to 15 minutes each, because the whole thing is the seed is laying just on top of the soil. So there's no need for you to water 2 inches down, so you just want to keep that seed damp until it sprouts roots. So once it grows roots, then you start watering it less often with more water, so that way you can penetrate down deep and those roots can chase that water down. So the next thing you need to worry about when it comes to watering is you don't want to water so much that you actually float the seed and move it from where you got it down. Now luckily I timed this in a time where we've gone about 5 or 6 days here before we're going to have any rain. So I'm hoping that this Kentucky Bluegrass is going to sprout here in about the next 5 to 6 days, hopefully before we get that rain so it doesn't wash away. I know since it's been about 90 to 95 degrees, actually it's been about 95 degrees ever since I've done this, I should get a pretty fast germination rate here. And then it's on that day it's going to rain, it's going to break. It's going to be low 80 to 70s from then on, so this is going to be perfect weather for this. So hopefully my sprout and pout that I get here will not be too bad. Because I know once Kentucky Bluegrass sprouts, it will actually stop and pause for a while, and it will not grow any more than that rate for a little while. So I'm hoping that's not going to be too long of a period here, and I'm planting this early enough where I should be able to get 2 to 2.5 months before our first frost. And with our mild winters in North Carolina, we really don't even get a hard winter until probably January, February is our coldest months, more into February. So I'm going to get a few months here of growth. So I should be able to really help get this going in my front yard before it starts getting too cold and it slows it down a lot. So now just a quick update, if you watched my last video here, my yard had got overgrown. I actually scalped this down and got it down lower so I could get back to my normal cutting height. So you can see here we have fully recovered. The lawn is back green. It's looking great. We're back to where we wanted to be at. So it's only been about, what, 2 weeks I think since I posted that video. So everything recovered nicely and it's looking really good. So if you do have to do that, don't be scared. It's not the end of the world. It will come back. So now also at the time of seeding, you can also put down a starter fertilizer if you would like to. A lot of people do that. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I kind of get the same results both ways. I haven't really noticed the difference. But once this does start showing a little bit and I get a little bit of a sprout here, I probably will come back and hit it with a low dose of some type of liquid fertilizer here, just to give it a little push as we start going closer into the fall weather that I've been looking for. I've used the Yard Mastery 12-12-12 starter fertilizer, had great results with it, and it's probably something I will use. I think I might actually use that as my fall fertilizer this year, because if you remember back in my soil test, like I've said before, I'm always low on my P and my K, so I'm going to put down a 12-12-12 just to help balance that out going forward. And now bluegrass will be something new for me. I've never dealt with bluegrass before. The closest thing I come to for a cool season grass is my winter rye that I used to put down, and that stuff would grow on concrete, so it's a totally different world. Get out of here. So this Kentucky Bluegrass is going to be a whole nother ball game for me. Stupid fly. Okay, so like I was trying to say, this would be my first time dealing with Kentucky Bluegrass. I've never really had it before. I don't even know anybody that does have it. I've seen Pete has it, and he's not too far away from me in North Carolina, so it looks beautiful for him. I think I need to step up my game and keep up. And I know he's renovating a big part of his yard right now, and I'm really trying to keep up with that too. So if you're looking at doing a full yard renovation, go check out his channel. I know those videos will really help you out. He goes to a whole nother level, and the man is way more OCD than I am, and I didn't even think that was possible. Also, I've seen the lawn tools are talking about doing some Bluemuda this year. I think they already put some down, so we'll see how that turns out. So with both of those pushing Kentucky Bluegrass and one of them kind of doing the same thing I'm doing here, I might as well jump on the train with them and let's ride this trend out. So I honestly wish me luck keeping up, because those guys are on a whole nother level than I am. So I really hope this overseed turns out pretty good for me here. And if it doesn't, I think I might seed it again in a couple weeks. We'll see how it turns out. I just want to see what comes up out of this seed. And if I don't like it, I might try a different brand. We'll see. So make sure you hit subscribe because you don't want to miss that. We're going to stay along with this journey with me. And you're going to watch me go from basically 0 to wherever I'm going to end up at, because I have, like I said, I know nothing about Kentucky Bluegrass, so it's going to be a learning curve. So let's all get out there and let's get those lawns renovated. With all that said, this is Shane Heath checking out.